Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Well, we got a crowd in here tonight, don't we? Thank you for joining me, and people who watch the live stream afterwards. Thank you for tuning in, seeing what's going on. If you want to be part of the chats, if you want to know when I go live, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, and that way they'll tell you when I go live. And you could join the chats or just watch them go by, or maybe make a friend. I don't know. So let's see who's here tonight. Hi, Quilt. Hi, Bubba. How you doing, Nanette? Nurse 222. How you, honey? John, how you doing, John? Melvida. Hi, I hope I said that name right. And the start time is usually in the title before you click on. So welcome aboard. Nice to have you here tonight. Wild West, how you doing? Yeah, let's see. So anyway, I was waiting to see what kind of reports. Hi Donna, how you doing? I was waiting to see what kind of reports. Lone Wolf, Nikki B, how are you, honey? Happy days. Tennessee. Mr. Kibler, how are you? Haha, I'm going to call you Mr. Kibler. Sharon. Wanda, everybody's here tonight. So I was waiting for all the big news to be blasted across CNN, MSNBC about what a horrible thing that was done to everybody on Twitter and really the electorate as a whole. And, crickets. Hi, Aaron, how are you? So it is pathetic. That's the word of the day. They are pathetic. And as this business that I was discussing last night starts to gel out, where the real people who have followers have real numbers, and the real people that are just talking a bunch of socialist stuff, they're going to wither on the vine, and they're going to look like what they are, pathetic. No more artificial being lifted up societally, being lifted up with comments praising them that are all made up from a foreign power. 223 DMR, how are you? Mike C, how are you? So it's going to be fun to watch. And what's the choice? What are they going to do? They're going to say, I'm getting off Twitter. It's either that or sit there and let the world see how pathetic and vapid, 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 their theology is, their following. We're going to get down to brass tacks. And you know that it was put out there that these releases are going to be a series. A series is what they said. Now, I'm not sure, but that tells me that it's going to be a timed release. Let me get my spectacles on here. Hi, Jan, how are you? Nice to meet you. And if I say, hey, it's the first time I met you, and it's not, just remember, the older you get, every day's a surprise, like, oh, whose shoes those? Yours. Oh, that's a surprise. But anyway, I'm not there yet, but I don't know how many of you saw my community post that had two things from what's called the Brazil news, and I debated about putting that up because I got a little notification on my phone said I had a new follower on TS, Truth, and then the other word, social. And I said, well, let me see who it is. Brazilian news. And so I clicked and scrolled down, and was reading some of the articles. I said, this might be phony. The print seemed to me to be, I don't know, a little weird, something maybe Turkish or I don't know. So I read some of the articles and I scrolled down to the very beginning when they first started. And it's kind of a repugnant picture. I won't describe it. But the rest of the articles after that attention getter seem to be pretty solid. So I went ahead and looked what the other news services, supposedly services, were saying about Brazil. And I went on DuckDuckGo, and I went on the other one, Google, and the nearest articles they had on Brazil were for American news services were like 2 weeks. Nothing for 2 weeks. And you've got all this going on. As we know, the military had sent a letter saying to the, I say, responsible parties, namely the Supreme Court, and I have no doubt to the Lulu or whatever his name is, their campaign people, that the military said they recognize Bolsonaro's. That's called a direct communication. Unequivocal, very straightforward. So I started thinking to myself, well, I want to put these two things up about CNN offices getting cleared out of there. That was like 3 days, 72 hours ago. The article says CNN staff quits and leaves Rio de Janeiro. Goodbye. Shut down the offices and they're out of here. So I thought, that's big news. We would have heard of that. So that's when I did my search. And you can try it too. Maybe you have some luck. But here's what I came across. 18 days ago, CNN. Scientists warn Brazil's rainforest is nearing a point of irreversible decline. Lula makes ambitious deforestation pledge. Okay. Yeah, nothing about, hi, Bobcat, how you doing? Nothing about what's going on, the letter, okay? And then legendary Brazilian singer died Wednesday at the age of 77. That was 24 days ago from CNN. So they're all old articles, all of them. Here's one 19 days ago. Biggest rainforest nations form triple alliance to save the jungle. So they're all talking about steering the conversation toward saving the jungle. But the articles I saw in the Brazil Times, crisis. CNN Brazil resigns en masse and closes headquarters in Rio de Janeiro. And the other article is Elon Musk presents a model of the Tesla cell phone that you won't need a carrier chip. The device will have a device connected to Starlink. Now, right away, of course, everybody is going to go on about Elon wanting to control people's brains and do things like that. But I'll address that in a minute. But as you know, if you have a Verizon phone, you try to use it on some other network, you can't, and all this kind of stuff. So he's had an interview with an Australian news person, and that has not been put out. Twitter had, let's see, Greg Kibler, Twitter had an article saying the same thing. Over 20 employees not happy about the way things are going. Oh, Twitter, yeah. I'm talking. I guess somebody mentioned that in the chats, but that's CNN, you say, Greg? CNN? Well, they probably made them close the office down so they wouldn't have to report on what is probably going to happen. Diamond will be on your show, Nikki. You're not sorry? Okay. I don't know what happened, but I hope it all works out. So anyway, there was, yes, please hit the thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. So they got Diamond. Okay, that's incredible, Bobcat. I see. I didn't know that happened. Okay, I'm just going through the chats, folks. Bear with me. So, yeah, you never know when the hammer's going to drop with this bunch, and they use, from what I understand from Rakita law, they use employees that are in other countries to review content and make the decision to push that button, and it's bye bye. So it's kind of, excuse me, I'm having a sip of my coffee. Freedom, hello, how you doing, honey? So anyway, right away, people were talking about Elon Musk is going to control your brains, put a chip in your brain. That had been going on for a number of months and years. That discussion, but Clandestine put on Truth Social about an interview with Elon Musk where what he was talking about was helping blind people to see using technology and for repairing, helping connect nerves together that otherwise wouldn't be connected. People that are crippled or can't hear or deaf, blind, so it's more of a medical situation than a requirement for everybody to have a chip. And how you know that is a black brim psyop is that talk about Elon Musk wanting to control us with a chip was all over Facebook and never got taken down, never got fact checked. Okay, so that tells you right there, there's something rotten in Denmark because they knew that this Twitter exposure was coming. So they were working on ways to put Elon Musk in the category of watch out. He's one of the DS crowd. He wants to do this and that. So that requires more scrutiny from all of us. So anyway, I'll take a look at the phone, see what it's all about. If I don't need a chip to go from carrier to carrier, and it's better, I don't have to deal with it breaking down or the little plug where you put your wire in to charge it always falls apart, and you got to get a new phone or get somebody to fix that for you. But anyway, what Elon Musk said to the Australian reporter was that he saw Twitter as an opportunity for what he called an expansion of consciousness. And by that he means information getting out for people to look beyond what they're being told in the mainstream media. Let's see. Well, Jan, we all hope he gets feeling better soon, honey. Finding Dory, how you doing, honey? Glad to have you here. So let me see if I guess that's what Greg was talking about. The CNN crowd. I'm trying to go through these chats. They go by quick sometimes. But anyway, so I would not put a lot of stock in what the MSN and the Black Cats say that Mr. Musk's plans are on what kind of person he is. We've got to discern that for ourselves. So I think we've got a lot of opportunity here in this business. What he did with Twitter is momentous, and we're going to get an inside look on big tech and their relationship with the United States government. For a lot of them, Meta, Twitter, Google, how they got to start, who they're beholden to. And we're starting to see that now. Of course, we know a lot more than our average neighbor, I say, but it is going to be an expansion of consciousness where more people are going to put two and two together. And as we all know, two and two always equals four. Did you hear about the Louisiana police chief who got sentenced to jail for buying certain things that you drop in a something on the side of the road that gets taken to be counted? And there was another one, a Georgia official who was messing around in 2021 in primaries. He got his neighbor's piece of paper. And he filled it out. And he got 25 years. That happened today. That was announced today. 25 years in the joint. Now, that happened in Georgia. You know the local papers are going to be reporting on that. And when does the runoff happen in Georgia? It's going on now, but when is the day? Is December 6th on Tuesday. So that is a little bit of a shot across everybody's bow. Now, he got 25 years because he had a track record in the past of forgery, but still, he's not eligible for parole for 15 years. Anyway, I'm looking at a news article popped up on my phone that they try to steer the news. You got to watch out. Watch out which articles are even worth talking about. But the situation with Jan Psaki saying that it's becoming clear that the judges in D.C. are very receptive and accepting of their definition of sedition. And it wasn't a threat, it was an actual statement that they'd be going out to get more people. So I'm getting articles popping up on my phone about the J6 committee and all this stuff, but I'm not going to get into it because it's nothing but talking points for the J6 committee, which I don't want to do. They're acting like they're doing a wonderful job protecting our system and all this kind of crapola. I'm not going to get into that. So let me see. Hi, Melinda. How you doing, honey? What? Wait a minute. I got that banner up there. I can get that down. Okay. Let's see. The devil's mad, and I'm glad. That's from Sharon Smith. That's right. He's mad. He's going to get madder too. But we got to start dismantling these lies. But even beyond that, they don't even report on big issues such as what's going on in Brazil. That is going to be a showdown. They're either just going to have to give up and walk away from it and accept what the military has said, or they're going to have to redo an election with supervision, or they're going to have to, what are they going to do? In this country, what are they doing? They're trying to get some prosecutors to go after Trump and his second step uncle and everybody they can find. What are they going to do in Brazil? They can't sick prosecutors on the military. So it's kind of hard to see what's going to go on with their plans and their process there. And remember, Brazil is the first country of BRICS, BRICS, which is a direct challenge to the Western countries, the golden billion, as I've talked about in the past. So this is something I can't see them giving up lightly, is Brazil. But I just don't see what moves they have on the chessboard. Like Andrew Jackson said, I said it before in other chats, the Supreme Court was mad at him and said, okay, where's their army? Let me know where their army is. We'll figure it out. That's right, Freedom Hello. No one's telling anybody what to do. We have to tell people to get their own research. That's right. So did you hear that this Tim Cook, who's the Apple CEO, we know he met with Elon Musk, right? But did you also hear that, I think it was yesterday, he met with, in DC, he met with Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab, who wants us to eat bugs and wants to create a new world. So we got to wonder what's happening there. He's getting some pressure put on him. They wanted to take Twitter out of how many, 60% of the access. They wanted that very badly. And Musk had a private meeting with this Scott fellow. And Toot Sweet, Klaus Schwab, is having a meeting trying to find out what's going on. So that is all going to be very interesting. Okay, I'm looking at some of the chats. Be careful. Be careful with some of those. Okay. Anyway, just seeing what's going on in the chats. But anyway, Klaus Schwab with the World Economic Forum, he was right there after old Tim Scott to see what in the world was going on and get some inside story on Elon Musk. But as many people on TS Truth, you know what, says, Elon Musk, the thought is that he is, as the largest contractor with the Department of Defense, that this whole buying of Twitter was meant to keep Twitter out of the hands of the black hats, and it is considered by some to be a military operation. The opening up of Twitter and the getting the bullhorn out of the hands of the infiltrators, the people who have infiltrated our culture and our government. So I'm just stating reports here. I'm not making stuff up. I heard that someone had found 20,000 of the pieces of paper in the general selection was came up missing for Herschel Walker. And had they been counted, there's a chance that there wouldn't have been, that he would have won and there wouldn't have been a recall. But I'm looking at a map right here that shows the vote totals for Warnock. This is after the general election in Herschel Walker. Warnock supposedly got 1,943,737. In Herschel Walker, 1,907,272. Less than 1% difference. I think it was about a, let's see, 36,000 difference. But you had this fellow named Chase Oliver, who was a libertarian, got 2.1% of the votes. You say, well, that's not much. Well, that's 81,278 votes, libertarian. Now, he's not going to be in the runoff. It's just going to be Warnock and Herschel Walker. So you tell me a libertarian walking the face of the earth that wants communism. I don't know any. So if those people show up during the runoff, Herschel Walker is going to have a distinct advantage. Let's see what's going on here. See what Finding Dory said. Well, I guess I'll find out later on what happened with that situation. But, they make up any reason to take your channel down. I don't know. But the big thing tonight was where DJT truthed out, and I put that as the first word in my thumbnail, unprecedented. And don't put his comment in the chats, please, because they got that F word in there. But he said the unprecedented behavior, I'll say behavior, just requires unprecedented action. I hope it doesn't take days for results either, Greg. We'll see. It might be. I tell you that, I think that's why Trump put this comment out that he put. And also, I wanted to finish up my story on the Brazilian news. I was leery about putting those two posts up on my community page. But then I thought about the stories themselves. All right. First of all, it's probably very true that CNN closed down their offices in Brazil. I think so they would not have to report honestly what's going on in Brazil. They're washing their hands of Brazil, and they haven't reported on it in 2 weeks. So, yeah, that's true. Then the Tesla phone. I heard with the Australian interview with Elon Musk. Yes, that's true. He is developing a phone that you don't need a carrier chip to give people a lot more freedom to go around where they want and to remove this stranglehold that Apple has on apps. Okay, so I said, okay, well, those stories are 99%, 98% true, chance are true. And then it hit me. It hit me. Bolsonaro is friends with Trump. Trump was all the way for Bolsonaro, encouraged everybody to go vote for Bolsonaro, encouraged the Brazilian people to stand up. And he owns Truth Social, or started Truth Social. And that's how this news company got into my sphere of knowledge, through Truth Social. And of course, the Trump organization is not going to allow a phony Brazilian news to get into that platform without being vetted. So that's why I'm saying, what am I talking about? What's the matter with me? I'm being too suspicious here. That's why I went ahead and posted those two stories on the community page to let people know I was going live tonight. So that would be something you may want, if you're on TS, you may want to go ahead and follow along with the other people that I talked about. And DJT Jr. launched his own news site. Have you all seen that yet? It's called MXM, or M times M. So it is getting highly competitive. And I made a comment on a other live stream earlier today. The mainstream media is going broke, and they are pathetic. And that's to me what's got to be put into people's minds. These people are ineffectual. They're losing their power, and they're a clown show. They're pathetic. They can't give us basic news on big stories And they're doing it at the behest of political powers, and I'll say foreign and domestic political powers. Very obvious to me. Okay, let's see. Wild West. Yep. I see what you're saying there about who's running the show. We'll be finding out. I don't know what the threshold is for the level of awakening. How you doing, Poppy Two Bears? Hi, Care. I don't know where the level of awakening has to hit before something will happen. But you have this Georgia election coming up on the 6th. You have this big story about somebody getting 25 years in the joint. And I believe he was a former official too. And neighboring state, you have a police chief going down the road, going in jail for doing things they should not do. And at the same time, you have Trump putting out these strong tweets about there being unique action. I'll put it that way. Unique action. Unprecedented action. That's right. They don't have pharma money coming in there. So that is getting everybody on pins and needles on both sides of the fence. But I'm not going to be on pins and needles because I resolved to myself that when this happens, when things when there's somebody makes a move, I'll put it that way, it's going to be something that the majority of Americans can understand. And it's not going to be the upheaval that would have happened 24 months ago. So that in itself, to me, is a big victory. That there are millions more people ascending, understanding. And every day that goes by, it's less of a chance of there being political or societal upheaval. Now, Katie Hobbs, she's threatening to take the supervisors in Mojave County and Cochise County and charge them with something. And the article that I saw had a picture of Katie Hobbs with somebody else that I talked about in the past. Eric Holder. What's he doing in Arizona? I never knew he lived in Arizona. And but he's down there apparently influencing the situation and giving, quote, legal advice. Now, Eric Holder, as many people in the chats know already, but some of my newer viewers may not know, and thank you to my new subscribers. I do want to say welcome and thank you. Eric Holder was, by a bipartisan committee, charged with contempt of Congress for his actions in the gun running case to Mexico. Okay? Fast and Furious. And he never came to testify. He was never threatened. He was never arrested. He was charged with contempt of Congress and nothing was done. And that was a legitimate committee. So you have him in Arizona right now, according to that article that I saw. And you have Katie Hobbs threatening to throw these elected officials. And remember what I said last night about Governor Rick Perry. They arrested a sitting governor for threatening to withhold funding from another elected official, not to arrest them. So I think that precedent is going to come around and bite them. You watch. Don't be surprised. And people say the first arrest will shock the world. Well, type that in on the 17th letter and it won't come up. I don't know who injected that. I used to repeat that. I used to repeat it like I knew what I was talking about a couple of years ago. And then I went to pull the post up and type the words in, shock the world, and I got some posts that you all will probably find very interesting. I'll go over them one day. Um, but there was nothing that said the first arrest will shock the world. And we've all been speculating, could that mean Trump? Could that mean this? Could that mean that? Could what mean what? It was never put into 17 posts. Somebody injected that into conversation, just like they injected into the conversation that Elon Musk is going to put chips in our brains and take us all over. Just before he takes over Twitter, they were trying to discredit him and tear him down. So you got to watch those black brim operations. They are very slick. And they put out a lot of operations. I'll go into them one day. I'm going to write them down. Say, look, this is stupid. This is stupid. This is stupid. Don't be stupid. Anyway, did you hear Lauren Boebert? Her opponent conceded. But they have ordered a Democrat official, I forget who it was, have ordered a recount anyway. Even though the person conceded defeat she was running against. That's unprecedented. Don't you think there ain't going to be some shenanigans going on there? That's in Colorado. And I said about Colorado and a couple other states, just because it's quiet doesn't mean there's not something going on. I think Nevada's the other one where things are quiet, but things are going on. Freedom Below says, I think Kanye may be playing a part. Very true. That's what we talked about last night. It's no small secret, no small coincidence. I'll say that. No small coincidence that right when his ex-wife is being plastered all over with her black outfit on, black mask, that I used as a thumbnail on that last video, that he shows up on Alex Jones's show with the black mask on, saying a bunch of crazy stuff and blowing up the internet. That's drawing all eyes, and all these other stations, other channels are saying it. Valenci, and then I break it up, Yaga. Okay, everybody's talking about it, but if I say it, I guarantee you I'll get some kind of email and have a problem with the channel. So, but that is putting all of it on the radar of the average person. When they start tying in that clothing company, is what I call it, Balenciaga. I just said the whole word, okay. Everybody else is saying it. We'll see what happens to me. Once they start putting ties together between the island and that clothing store and the people that are customers of that clothing store, that own shares of that clothing store, that are employed by that clothing store, and they start putting them together on flight lists, the names that Ghislaine's going to come up with, people are going to put two and two together. And I know we've already put that together a long time ago. Some of us 5 years ago. But there are people now, the majority of the populace does not even have that in their radar screen. But it's going to hit them. And I had a phone conversation with Red. I'm looking to see if he would get in here. And said he was going to put our phone conversation up on one of his channels. I think Red Stacker. And I told him, what is going to get people to stop what they're doing and look at this with an angry eye? I can't say the word. I be careful when I say the word CHI and then LD. Okay? I have to be careful about that word. I have to be careful about the word KI and the last word D. Okay? So among other words. But I tell you one word that hadn't gotten into the rhythm yet. And people start seeing that there's problems with toddlers, okay? We're talking toddlers. You look at those photos from that clothing company. The one holding up the bear. That's a toddler. You look at the lady that was in charge of advertising, she's holding in her arm younger than that, with gory implications. So that is going to start getting people, as I said, to look at everybody involved and wanting to know the linkage between the company, the people involved, and what was going on that island. And they're going to look at it with an angry eye, just about everybody you know. And that is going to be the difference between, if something has to be done, a direct comm by our military to certain people in our government, just like the Brazil government made a direct comm to their civilian branch. When that happens, if the people have looked at the situation with an angry eye and decided that there's something fundamentally wrong at the highest levels of power in this government, we're not going to have nearly the problems. But we will have problems from the, as Mr. T calls them, the lunatic left, okay? The ones that run around stealing luggage when they got a top paying job in the White House. And they, you know the rest, okay? I can't even talk about that. But I don't have to, because you all know what I'm talking about and who I'm talking about. Baldylocks, people like that. You're going to have a problem from them. And let me tell you, we can take care of them in a snap of a finger. We just don't want families fighting with each other. We want to be unified in the agreement that this punishment needs to be meted out, that this stuff needs to stop. But we've got to ease it into the public mind. But I think that Trump putting out his statement tonight that unprecedented action needs to be taken, all capital letters. I think that's a feint. FIENT, a feint, where he's going to see their reaction. I don't think they're going to do anything just yet, but I could be wrong. But I can't imagine that something's going to happen before this Georgia. I said that's going to be the next stage after Arizona. Georgia's going to be ground zero. And all the shenanigans and stories and kooky stuff that comes out of that runoff. And if the mainstream media don't report on it, let me tell you, people are not going to sit and watch the news. They're not going to watch CNN talking about the rainforests in Brazil when they know what's going on. That the Brazilian military is being involved in counting and reviewing. They're going to go to Twitter and say, I wonder what's going on in Brazil. People hey, call it nosy, call it whatever you want, but they're going to want to know what's going on. 90% of the people in this country are going to want to know the truth. Let's say 85, okay? So that is going to be what breaks the back of this mainstream media. There is going to be their budget. You heard about CNN. What were some of the articles on what happened at CNN a couple of days ago? Did you hear anybody talking about that? I hope I'm still on. Yep. Okay, my phone went black. Am I still on, folks? My phone went black. Okay. Anyway, what happened at CNN? Let me see here. Where's the article on that? They called it a gut punch. CNN gut punch of layoffs and cost cuts. What happens next? Okay, that was one day ago. Do I think the trains will strike? Well, let me tell you, Mike. I saw an article where they were the unions had them having one day of sick leave. I mean, what union has one day of sick leave for any of their people? Am I missing something, or am I getting that wrong? So, in the past, especially since the Hostess destruction of the company Hostess, I've always been concerned. Everybody should be concerned about union overreach. I don't have a problem with unions, but union overreach. But this one day sick leave. But then it dawned on me, they don't want trains running. Okay, they take diesel fuel. They're a big part of the economy. They want to destroy the economy. They want us getting things on battery operated tricycles. I got news for y'all on another front. I meant to mention several broadcasts ago. China long ago outlawed internal combustion engines. Their people are riding around on tricycles, battery operated tricycles, and two-wheel mopeds like little children. They've got about a 30-mile radius. It means they can go about 15 miles somewhere and then hope and pray they can make it to 15 miles back home. Out in the weather, no way to travel when it's cold, restricting travel. And it's been that way for several years. The average person in China cannot have a internal combustion engine vehicle. And they're riding around like children on these little battery operated toys. And that's what they want us to do, okay? But they're coming out with these big SUVs where you can go about 8 miles before you got to turn around and come back. Or you got a pickup truck that can't haul anything. But it's a pickup, so you get all these limousine liberals and people with a little bit of money. They go out there and buy the stuff to virtue signal how great they are, and they're buying junk. And they're saying now even the electric bikes are blowing up. They're overheating, and you're riding down the road, and boom, the battery goes up in smoke. Comments disappearing? Pappy Two Bears. Well, if you put a word in that is questionable, YouTube will take it down. And that could be in trouble for me later on. So what you do is, if you have a word that you want to put in there, use a number for a vowel. Okay? Use a number for a vowel. Vowel. Okay? I saw that on the NPC show. That's what he tells his people in his chats. If you want to put... I'll just say it. TRAN. Okay? If you want to put that in there, make the A 4 or 3. And then people know what it is. Because if you put that word in there, they can take it down. So any word that you think they may object, you put a number in place of a vowel. And we're all smart enough to get it. You don't need to put, like was spelled out a couple of days ago, can't do that kind of stuff. Okay, guys? And I appreciate you all doing that. And I appreciate Philo and Nikki for looking out for me. Yes, I agree, Wild West. It's getting close. I mean, but by that I mean it could be months, but any rational person knows at some point this is getting to a point where something's got to give. And I can't imagine that the White Hats are going to make a move before the new Congress is sworn in and before something is resolved with this Brazilian situation, before Georgia is resolved, they have to do something in a spotlight under a microscope. Warnock against Walker, period. And they got to make some magic happen to win that. And it's going to be awful hard to do when the entire nation is just watching those two. So I can't imagine anybody would want to shake up the game board when it's their turn to get out there and dance. And let's see how you do. Dance votes. So anyway, let's see what's going on in the chats. That's going to be interesting, that Georgia thing. K&S Cleanup, how you doing? Oh, yeah. They don't want people in business. They don't want people in business. But that's where they're driving us to. So they don't want to do, to answer your question, Mike, I know off subject, but to answer your question, they want the railroad people to strike. They want to destroy the economy. They want to take the railroad industry and crush it anyway. Does that make sense? Diesel railroad engines. What do you think Greta Thunberg thinks of that? My word. Christmas break coming soon. B-Dog, how you doing? That's right. Maybe they'll be snatching them up on Christmas break. I don't know. And Donnie, yeah, a lot of families are like that. Greta, yeah. Greta Thunberg. She needs to fall in love with some nice guy and get married and have kids and just drop it. And did you see Trump coming out with a statement? He didn't have a tie on. There weren't any flag comms. And he, hey, did you all hit the thumbs up? Anyway, he just came out and said, called it what it is, communism. You can't get any simpler than that. And what we used to say is that a socialist is a communist is a socialist in a hurry. And he's calling it out for what it is. So I think I'm right about that. One sick day is all their union pushed for the railroad companies to have. And as we know, if it's not the mafia in a particular union, it's local politicians that run the union. And you take the word mafia and politicians, a lot of times it's interchangeable. So if they wanted that to be a desirable job, if they wanted the railroad companies to flourish, they would not be having one sick day for their employees. But I did hear that was one of their gripes. I mean, they should take care of that very easily because railroads are part of national security. I'm sorry. I mean, you got to have functioning railways for food and everything else. So let me see. But anyway, when you got Trump putting out those comms about communism and that we've got to do something unprecedented for the unprecedented actions that have happened. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Let me see here. I'm gonna go into some of these news articles, but now they were going to sanction Kerry Lake. I'm telling you what is going to pop up out of the woodwork. I don't know when, but I think it's getting close. Who do you think is going to pop up out of the woodwork? I'm going to ask the chat before I answer. Who do you think is going to pop up out of the woodwork? You know, the other thing that news reports, while y'all cogitating on that, news reports are putting out in different countries, not in this country, all the military equipment that is being moved around in Brazil. Very unusual, very large amounts of uh, armored transport vehicles, tanks, troops going to specific areas, not in a way to alarm people, but it looks like a very well organized military exercise, and nobody's reporting on it. And I think that's just the military. That's just the military getting a hold psychologically of the opposition and letting them know, hey, we told you who we think's president. All right, now we're moving these troops around because we just want you to know we mean business. Okay, so nobody's reported a peep about that. It was happening. If Trudeau was doing it because the truckers, if he was moving military around, they would be reporting on it nonstop about those evil truckers. But no, with Brazil, they don't even have a news office. And I think it's on purpose. Now, this Lulu guy is pushing for people to be arrested if they say they support Bolsonaro. And he's got some namby-pamby little creep in power, a prosecutor that is in agreement with him and is going to pursue people. And we'll see how long the military puts up with that. Now, Gavin Newsom launches a $569 billion reparations plan to California. This is another very well thought out way of buying loyalty in case something does happen. As we know, Gavin Newsom is Nancy Pelosi's nephew, and he has a lot of ties to companies in the Ukraine, energy companies, along with HB. We know that's how I'm going to refer to him now, HB, the other Biden. This $568 billion is for slave reparations, and they are putting it out there that anyone who has ties back to slavery would get something like $223,000 apiece. But it's funny that there was no slavery west of the Mississippi, okay, ever. So they'll come up with something like they came up with Barack Obama was a 25th cousin, 6 times removed from a slave, or some kind of garbage. And you can bet that government cronies are going to be the first ones on the list with some kind of Liz Warren paperwork. I'm Cherokee Indian. Well, I was related to a slave. And they're going to be the first ones getting that $200-some thousand if this goes through. So that just gives you a little inside look on how these things work. Like I said, we got that crowd that says, give me liberty or give me a widescreen TV. In this case, they would sell out their own grandmothers. Now, the Department of Homeland Security, this is stuff that's going on right now. These are moves and counter moves that they're making to keep us divided. DHS has raised its alert, I don't know what level to, on a TERROR threat. They're warning because they're citing the attack on the Pelosi house and, of all things, the Colorado shooting. And they're linking it to white-colored supremacy, okay? So, on one hand, you got Gavin Newsom promising $220,000 to people of a certain color, and simultaneously, you have the Department of Homeland Security saying we're going to raise a terror threat because of white supremacists. Now, if that's not divisive, planned divisiveness, I don't know what is. Now, if you get a chance, I told you Steve Crowder got taken down. Louder with Crowder, he got taken off of the this platform, YT, and he got back on somehow. And I would encourage y'all, it's called Crowder Bits. I watched it earlier. It's about 20 minutes. Boy, I'm telling you, he blows the lid off this stuff with the Lady Gaga company. And in the title, it says that company name is part of a much bigger satanic scheme. If they haven't taken the video down, somehow he got back on. He's got a very good attorney. And that would be one that I would watch and share with your friends. It's called Crowder Bits. And it discusses that company in the title. So you want to go watch that. I couldn't believe it. I mean, if I did half what he said, I'd be gone. I'd be gone. Probably wouldn't even be able to finish the broadcast. Wait a minute. Let's see what's going on. Okay, Wild West is giving us a inside scoop. We'll see what is today. The 3rd. Okay. So 2 weeks. You got till the 17th, West. We're gonna check back with you if I'm still around. We're gonna check back with you, Wild West, 2 weeks. But anyway, you want to check that out. And I tell you, there's another story I want to go over in a minute after I get through some of this stuff. But the Planned Parenthood, see, they're constantly provoking. They're provoking, and on the other hand, they're bracing for trouble, blaming it on a certain group. But how do I mean provoking? Planned Parenthood, S and then EX education director claims babies are sexual from birth, and says that PORN should be taught to children. This is a director high up in Planned Parenthood making a public speech saying that this is what should be done with from birth, infants, young kids, as I said, toddlers, TODDLER. So they are provoking people. People ain't going to put up with that, and it's going to get ugly. So hopefully we can get the word out. All the citizen journalists, as we watch this collapse of the mainstream media, take their viewers away. That's why I'm going to start being more cued in on going in around 8:30. You know, So instead of that, if people start to watch me, that's why I say I don't mind a liberal coming in the chats. Because if they're here watching this, they're not watching Rachel Maddow, okay? And there goes their advertising dollars. I don't get a daggone dime. Oh, by the way, this channel is viewer supported and channel supported only. And if you want to help out an old man, there's a buy me a coffee link in the description. Minneapolis will pay $600,000 to protesters for injury sustained in the 2020 George Floyd demonstrations. Okay? They call them demonstrations. They were RIOTS, okay? And they're going to get $600,000 from the city of Minneapolis. In other words, rewarding them. And Steve Bannon, he was on, and he discussed the 51 intel officers that assured everyone on all the mainstream channels that the Russian information, the laptop was Russian disinformation, and still maintained the business of Russian collusion. He's calling them out as TRAI Tours, okay? Everybody can figure that out. Now, Clandestine had a petition that for people to sign concerning what was going on with big tech with these new disclosures from Twitter. He got 13,000 signatures in 16 hours. It was in the top 1% of petitions. As we all know, we supposedly have a right to petition our government, correct? I don't know the details of the petition, but there's this operation called change.org is where you can put a petition up, for people to read and decide if they want to on this website. It's kind of like if you want to raise money, you can go to GoFundMe or GiveSendGo, places like that. Well, if you want to do petitions, this is a company that allows petitions. Well, they shut his petition down. A bias. And that also has to be addressed, just like the GiveSendGo and what it was with the Canadian government shutting down people's donations and things like that. You've got it now with trying to petition your government. You have one tech firm, which is what change.org is, taking sides, one side against the other. And as I've been reading in the chats, they are trying to divide us. But here's another post. The military pays Elon tens of billions of dollars in government contracts and makes him the richest man on earth. There were contracts approved and signed by Trump. Like Trump said, he would have come in here and kissed my feet. Elon takes the billions given him by Trump via the military in government contracts and uses it to buy Twitter. Trump confirmed to us in an interview recently that he and Elon always got along. Nunes actually let slip that Trump and his team were advising Elon behind the scenes. I'm suggesting, this is clandestine, that Elon is working with Trump and the U.S. military. That is not a stretch. That is something I would say to consider. I'm not saying it's 100% right, but there's no such thing as coincidences. Okay, then this other one is a little touchy. I don't know. I'll take my chances with the military when the alternative is to continue to allow a bunch of trees Hunus P3DOs to desecrate the Constitution and enact tyranny on the people, especially given the U.S. military have been informing us of all of this on public back channels for years. And that is a very true statement. And here I have this post from DJT. You could look up on yourself on TS, Truth and the Other Word is Social. Unprecedented FRAOUD requires unprecedented cure, all in caps. And I believe that to keep the deep state on their toes. And one person I've been watching has put up something very interesting and I think very true. The Snowden character. He's a hero according to mainstream media. And Julian Assange is no good according to the mainstream media. I think we're going to find out when all this shakes out. It's going to be the other way around. Snowden is going to be one of the biggest traitors of this country that we've ever had. You watch what I'm saying. Just a little aside to put in there so I can say, told you so. But anyway, keep in mind that the Supreme Court is also considering a motion to overturn the impeachment of Trump. These things might very well come together in a synchronized way. Now, I'm going to check True Social to see if anything else popped up. Snowden, Paulo said Snowden might turn out to be in Ukraine. No, he's not in Ukraine. Let me tell you what this last story about him was. This is from the Epoch Times. Former NSA contractor and whistleblower Edward Snowden has received a Russian passport and taken the citizenship oath. Russian media quoted his lawyer as saying, it comes around 3 months after President Putin granted Snowden citizenship. And that's my friend that's calling him out is Bernie on a channel that's been removed. It's somewhere else now. Let's get ready to you know what. That's Truth and Art TV. So he's been calling it out and also has a 17th letter. I could go over some drops about Snowden in 17th letter, and you have no doubt that this person caused a lot of people to lose their lives. Okay? So anyway, let me see how long. Oh my gosh, I've gone an hour and 13 minutes. Let me check what's going on if any more posts come up on TS. Let me see. Mike can't put that up. That is definitely going to get me out of here. Take that down, please. The WWG, please. You cannot put that up there. That is a flagged term. Flagged. I appreciate it. And I know it sounds like I'm being nitpicky, Wild West, but you put DRAG, and then you put threes where you got the E's there in that last word, Queens. Just put threes in next time, put it up, okay, buddy? Do stuff like that. It'll throw them off because they got Q words. Gosh, I said that letter. But you got to really be careful with that. Mike, I got to take that down, buddy. Yeah, that's right. I'm a weekend warrior. Ha ha. Okay, Mike. I got to take it down because I don't see it going, buddy. And that means you get a 5 minutes. If I take one of your comments down, it's 5 minutes where you can't comment. That's the only option this platform gives me. You can do 5 minutes, stand on your head, jump back in if I'm still on here, but I can't leave that up. I can't. So it's gone. I need to hear back. I can't take a chance. But anyway, let's Mike, you stay with us now. Don't get mad now. Who? Somebody yesterday got mad at me, but I mean, what can I do? I don't make the rules. I get kicked around by them. Oh my gosh, here's one story I can't go over now. You wouldn't believe it. A YouTuber. Oh my God. I don't even know how to approach this story. It's so disgusting. But it has to do with the culture we're talking about. Yeah, I took it down, Aaron. I had to. And Mike has said 5 minutes. What is it? 116. I gotta go. But anyway, let me see what's going on TS. I don't gotta go. I can hang out here. Let's keep going. Let's welcome Mike back when he comes back. So I'm gonna go to 221. I mean 121 or 122. We'll welcome Mike back. Let's see, Mr. T, if he put anything else up. Oh, okay. Let me read before I might have to edit myself here. We got since I last checked it, we've got two posts from Mr. T. Representative Fred Upton, a pro-impeachment rhino, would be a disaster for anything having to do with the word Republican, but especially when it comes to Speaker of the House. Oh my gosh, they're putting up this Fred Upton character. My record on endorsements in the general election was 232 to 22. And in the primaries, it was 98.6%. I would never have endorsed Upton, who quit Congress in the face of a challenge, and that's not what Republicans need. A very dangerous game is being played, peace through strength. Okay, so we got to keep an eye on this Upton character, and if you can get a hold of your state representative, they're Republican, you tell them, stay away from this Upton character because Mr. T said so. That's why. Okay? None of you would be where you are if it wasn't for DJT. None of you. Or as they say in New York, none of yous. None of yous. Hi, Lucy. Yep, you can listen to it later on, honey. I find that you can play my videos, at least for me, at 1.25 speed or even 1.5. But with my slow country cadence, you still can understand pretty good. Now, this other tweet by DJT is in all capital letters, and it says that something selection, and then you get a radio that gets I don't know, you can't hear it because it's got interference. But anyway, is at a level never seen before in all caps. So I got to heart that, and I hearted that other one about this character. I'm going to call him a character, Fred Upton. Okay? We don't want him. And the only ones saying anything about Twitter is the New York Post and a couple other fringe things, the M is staying away from it. So let's see what's going on here in the chats. Looking for whose video? Let me see. Lone Maple Poultry, how are you? It's nice to meet you. Oh, I won't see him removed? Okay, honey. Then I shouldn't have done that with Mike. I didn't know. I didn't know. Well, let's keep an eye on the clock. He'll be back. And we'll all put up clappy hands. Ha ha ha. Who's spray and pray? I was just going back through that. All right. A mill fire. Okay. I worked at a feed mill. You're talking about a feed mill, right, Bobcat? You can't feed the chickens. It's hard to have chickens. Oh my gosh, complete loss. Well, anyway, I got to give it another 30 seconds, see if Mike makes us back in. Oh, I got a message from somebody. Oh, Joanne, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. Ain't that sometimes we get notifications, sometimes I don't. But anyway, folks, let's see if Mike makes it back. Anyway, I appreciate y'all being with me. And I still haven't put Killer Fuzz in, but I haven't seen him in the chats. But I will mention his name anyway. Thanks to Aaron, Rockin' Robin, Kristen, Norm, Wanda, somebody one and somebody two, and also Killer Fuzz for helping me out with the Buy Me a Coffee link. I appreciate it very much, everything y'all do. And I'm going to see about tomorrow night if you got the notification bell. If you'll notice when my community posts go up, if I decide I'm going to go live, and we want to get rid of these baddies. We want to starve them out, not give them any kind of ratings. So stay away from MSNM. And if you got liberal friends, tell them to come on over and have a good time. Be part of the chats. I'll talk to a liberal any day as long as it isn't any foul language or anything like that or nasty, mean stuff. So anyway, y'all have a great night. And let me see if Mike made it back. Doesn't look like. No, Mike. That's a. Well, anyway. So in my description, I've got some suggestions about chats. If you please check that out and put a comment, a hard comment. It helps the video get around. Even if you say, Mountain Man, like I said before, go soak your head. But anyway, in the comments, it has suggestions. No more than 3 emojis. Use letters for vowels. Avoid words that you instinctively know they'll complain about. Stuff like that. It's in the description, okay? Along with my coffee link. But anyway, y'all have a great night, and I appreciate you all. And Mike, if you're out there, we'll see you next time, buddy. So have a great evening, folks. I'll be talking to you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.